the Super Bowl at the Superdome. Tonight, the party is in New Orleans for the coolest sport on earth. Just one word can describe this season's EA Sports Supercross 250 class. Unpredictable. The points chase has changed for the big guys in the big class. Last year's champion now has a 5-point lead, and with 5 wins, the question is, can anyone catch number 4? New Orleans Saints and host to the 2002 Super Bowl. It's round 10 of EA Sports Supercross presented by Speed Stick. And the fans are fired up as they await more 250 Supercross action. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Ekman. 3 weeks ago, the heat was on defending champion Ricky Carmichael. He was 20 points behind David Vuillemin in the championship points chase. Well, as we come into New Orleans, the momentum has shifted greatly. There's been a black cloud over David Vuillemin's head. It was apparent that the pressure was mounting for him at Atlanta. During qualifying, he played bumper fights with fellow Frenchman Stephane Roncada, coming off the track and turned into a helmet-slapping conflict, where Vuillemin was fined $2,000 but allowed to race. And then on his weekend off, Vuillemin crashed during a photo shoot, injuring his shoulder. He injured it so bad, David Bailey, he couldn't race Daytona and is now 5 points behind Ricky Carmichael.
Well, I really felt for David Vuillemin in Daytona. I mean, he took one look at that racetrack and said, there is no way. It's also the longest main event. Here in the Superdome, it's different. The track isn't quite as demanding on his shoulder, and he looks pretty good. And what might be contributing to that is the fact that he went out in the first lap of practice yesterday, cased the big finish line double jump, and his shoulder was able to handle that impact. So he's not out of this yet. He's not the only rider who's suffered some mishaps lately. For more on that, let's go down to Davey Coon.
If you think David Vuillemin's had a bad couple weeks, let me tell you about Travis Pastrana. Last week we had the disturbing image of seeing Travis literally pass out on his motorcycle, riding second behind Ricky Carmichael at Daytona. This was the second race in a row that Travis could not finish because of an illness. In fact, if we go back to the Indianapolis Supercross, where he had that great battle with Ricky Carmichael before they collided, Travis has not finished a single race. Now he's on the sidelines altogether. He's got this chronic sinus problem he wanted to have looked at, and while he was at it, he decided to have his tonsils taken out too. Just a complete bumper-to-bumper overhaul for Travis Pastrana. Now with our Suzuki storylines, here's Art.
Ricky Carmichael has led 85 of the last 120 laps. Can this domination continue this evening? How well will David Vuillemin be able to compete? And only 6 points separates Ezra Lusk from Jeremy McGrath and Stephane Roncada. Is this a battle for third or maybe second place?
Well, you can see the long start right down the center. The floor here in the Superdome is enormous. They could probably have an outdoor national in here. But like always, the first whoop section has been the place where we've seen a lot of passing. They're a little bit sharper faces, forcing the riders to make mistakes towards the end. Another section is they wind their way around to the finish line jump. A lot of options there and some block passes right here. The dirt is tackier than it's been here in the previous years, and it's a fast pace, Art.
You can tell by their rimming. The mics are at the gate as we take a look at number 11, Ezra Lusk. David Vuillemin also in this opening qualifying heat, trying to regroup and get back in the chase. Nathan Ramsey on the Honda 4-stroke. David Huffman, a one-time career winner. Dick Way, the top privateer so far. And there's lots of money up at stake for the top privateers. $25,000 at the end of the year for number 1. We're set to go. Qualifying heat. Nathan Ramsey on the 4-stroke. Out in front. Ferry, Lusk, far apart, second place, and David Vuillemin in 4th. Now slips back to 5th as number 26, Nicholas Way, the top privateer, goes at it with Vuillemin. He actually beat him through the whoops. Vuillemin not 100%.
But I'll tell you what, Vuillemin's doing a pretty good job of disguising his pain. And I was kind of joking with you earlier, Art. It's tough to tell if he's riding and trying to favor that shoulder because his style is so unorthodox in the first place. It's hard to tell if he's just moving around like that because that's what he always does, but if he actually is favoring it. But I'll tell you what, he was 3rd fastest today in the 2nd practice session, faster than everybody in front of him but Ezra Lusk, who lit it up in both practice sessions. It looks like he means business. Just jumped 4 whoops into that section. I haven't seen that yet.
It's a freight train out front. 17, Robbie Raynard. Coming through the picture, Jason Burnett out of Canada. 5:35. Nick Walsh
been so strong through this section. He's actually able to change his line and go, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get him there. I'll go wide, get a run at him here.
Lusk, he's got the inside. But look at the power of the four-stroke, and Lusk almost cased it right there. Oh, he's game. Lusk really wants to win. He's won 2 of the last 3 qualifying heat races. He was second at Daytona in his heat race and got his first podium during the main event in 3rd.
Ezra really is riding with a different energy level this week. Mentally, it seems like he's in the game. Look at this section. Setting himself up for a nice block pass right there. He's jumping further into that wood section than I've seen anyone do all day. I think he's been holding that. He's been faster through these whoops they're approaching than Nathan Ramsey. We'll see if he can make the pass this time. Oh, he can't. There was the rider down. That's a plot. So they weren't able to triple.
Ramsey, number 25.
See that flashing light art on the tough block. That lets the riders know, don't jump the triple or you're going to get penalized.
Nathan Ramsey continues to lead. Got a 12th place start at Daytona, but a steady climb to finish 6th.
Now here you're looking at a guy, Nathan Ramsey, out front, who could not stay on the bike in Daytona. Still salvaged a pretty good finish. He was tough. He had to ride a lot of laps down there. But 2nd and 3rd on the podium are right behind him, and they haven't really been able to do anything about his lead.
Ferry 15. And there you see David Vuillemin, number 12. One thing he didn't want to do was go down and have to go to the semifinal round.
Now, the more laps on him, the worse. And right now, he's got a comfortable cushion now over Nick Way. So he's going to go to the main event as long as he stays upright.
Vuillemin explained to us earlier about the last 2 weeks.
I was doing a photo shoot and in the mountain by my house, and like a cliff jump, and I went over the bars and got a concussion and held my shoulder. So we saw the joint was kind of bruised and like a little tendonitis too. So after that, I decided to go back to France, like I did when I popped my knee out after San Diego to see my osteopath. And the osteopath put like all my shoulders back together, and so it can heal faster. It's painful, but I can ride, I can jump everything like those guys. So I think I'm just have to run it like that this weekend. It's going to be better next week.
We've got a new leader, Ezra Lusk, passing Nathan Ramsey. Lusk won here on a Honda in 1999. For one of his 12 or 11 career victories. All right, Nathan Ramsey tries to get back in the loops. Oh, Ramsey fishtailing, bouncing around.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
See, the end of that whoop section is just reaches up and grabs you. So many of the riders having a tough time with that last 4 or 5. Ezra's been pretty steady. And I'm glad to see Ezra with all that hard work that he was putting in. I'm glad to see Ramsey up there too, but Ezra was trying so hard to get in the lead. You can see his intention. Let's listen in now.
I understand they don't chat a lot because it's the spotters talking to the mechanics.
Oh, Ramsey going down. I was just about to say, you see Ferry going by, takes over second. Here comes Vuillemin. What a ride for Ezra. You know, going back to Minneapolis, he had a podium there until just a silly fall in the final lap. And then in Atlanta, he won his heat race again like he did in Minneapolis. But then he got into it with Fonseca in the opening lap of the main event. He really never had a chance. I think he was good enough for a podium there. Then he podiumed last week.
Here's another look.
3 in a row. Now watch Ramsey's front end. Goodbye. As soon as you land off that little double jump, you lean into the corner, and if you don't stay just in the right line and keep that front end underneath you, that can happen in a heartbeat.
Ezra Lusk crossing the finish line, has 2 more laps to go. You see the yellow dots next to their name. That means they're in qualifying position. Only the top 4 in our qualifying heats of the 250s transfer directly to the main event. The others go on to the semifinal round where they take the top 6, and then only 2 out of the last chance qualifier.
That last lap by Ezra of 56.2, that's his fastest lap so far, and it's coming here at the end of the race. So he's strong. He's getting better with these laps winding down. You can see it in the rider. They have a little bounce in their step. They attack the practice sessions a little bit differently, and you can see it in Ezra. He wants to win here. He has won here before. This is the time of year where last year he really cranked it into gear, being even faster than Carmichael at times.
Vuillemin is on the bubble. Number 26, Nick Way right behind him. And this is the battle for fourth spot. Vuillemin is going to have to reach back because Nick Way, he doesn't care that Vuillemin's in a points battle.
He's just got to watch that right-hander before the finish line. Nick Way can get in there and put a block out, and he's going wide. Starts to lean to his right. He's got it.
Our leader, number 11 on the Kawasaki, Ezra Lusk. Out of the state of Georgia. Lusk has had an outstanding career. He's hoping to get back into title contention, though.
He's starting to put it into cruise control right now. I really would rather see Ezra ride hard this entire heat race. I know he's strong enough, but it's not going to take too much out of him for the main event. When he starts calming down a little bit, his lap time will drop by a full second, and Carmichael, if he can win the next heat race, he's going to blister it, have the faster heat, have the edge, have the mental edge, and have first pick to the gate for the main. So Ezra, I think it's important that he rides every lap hard and sends a message to Ricky.
So Ezra sees the checkered flag as Vuillemin still battling for the final transfer spot. Ferry in second. And Vuillemin holds Nick Way off for the fourth position in the final transfer. Boy, Nick Way gave it a good battle.
Yeah, Vuillemin probably wanted to relax a little bit more like Ezra was doing those lap and a half. And Nick Way wouldn't let him, so he's going to go back and ice that thing, Vuillemin. I'm impressed, though, Art. There's a lot of people wondering, since he looked so good here this weekend, why didn't he at least try to ride that heat race at Daytona? And, you know, some people are comparing that to what happened to Langston at Southwick last year, but Langston, if you remember, didn't ride the next round.
Our Honda results page, Lusk, Ferry, Ramsey, and Vuillemin on their way to the main event with Nicholas Way, Raynard, Waugh, Huffman, and others having to go to the semifinal round. So one qualifying heat is down here at the Superdome in New Orleans. We got one more to go. Lots of action left from the Dome. It should be interesting to see what Ricky Carmichael has in store here in the second qualifying heat as we check out the lineup. There's number 21, Stephane Roncada. And the lineup goes like this. Ricky Carmichael, our points leader. Stephane Roncada in the Kawasaki. Jeremy McGrath, Bud Light Yamaha. Ernesto Fonseca. Heath Voss in the battle for top privateer honors. Jeff Gibson, who's already been a three-time Ironman. In other words, he qualified for both 125 and 250s, is in this heat, as is Carmichael. Now set to go. We're off and running. Jeremy McGrath on the inside. McGrath gets the whole shot. My goodness. Fonseca's right behind him. And on the helmet cannon.
You see Roncada going right in there to put a block pass on. Looks like Ricky and James Pavolny. So the riders that are talking about how aggressive Roncada is, there's an opportunity to see it. Up close.
The helmet cam is on Keith Johnson.
Listen to how wide open Ricky is. Even if he's not ready to turn it wide open, he's got the throttle wide open with the clutch in, just waiting to explode. What a great start for Pavolny.
Our leader, Jeremy McGrath. McGrath has one heat victory so far this year.
He looked superb in the first practice session this afternoon. Looked like the Jeremy that we all are used to. He was able to do a few things out there no one else was doing. He attacked the track right away. Pulled away from the riders he was riding with. He actually kind of singed Carmichael off his wheel a couple times. Look at the lead he has already.
On number 24, Ernesto Fonseca, Roncada in third, but only in fourth. As you take a look at the running order, those yellow arrows, that means they're in qualifying position as we watch the field come through the camera. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael. Number 49 is Johnson. 94 is Wilson. Lewis 23, Young 215, Hapworth. That's Hawthorne, number 356. And our leader once again, Jeremy McGrath. He is looking so fast.
A 55.5 that time. That's almost a full second faster than what we saw in that first heat race with Ezra Lusk. So Jeremy is on pace. He didn't light up the second practice like I was thinking he should. He couldn't send a message out to those guys, but obviously he knew what he was doing.
My goodness. This is one of only 2 venues that Jeremy McGrath has never won at. Roncada battling it out with Carmichael. Roncada on the Kawasaki, number 21. Number 4 on the red bike, Ricky Carmichael.
I'm expecting something to happen here. It's just Carmichael is no patience. He's going to want around Roncada, and Roncada is not easy to pass, and he's not intimidated by anybody, at least of all Carmichael.
He's going to ride wide.
I don't know if he's going to do a blocking thing, but if Ricky's able to get by him, watch Roncada try to get right back by. If he can get around him, Roncada.
Look at this, Roncada challenging right now. Fonseca, Roncada moves into second place, and it's a battle for the bars. They come over the finish line job. Fonseca grabs it back again. Roncada with great acceleration.
These are clean passes. But what he's trying to do is set himself up to make a move, and Ricky's getting a hold of him.
Ricky Carmichael looking to move in front of Roncada. The battle's in the works. Roncada behind Fonseca, and it's Carmichael moving in front of him. Wow, what action we've had in qualifying.
That's just going to eat at Ricky that he cannot get up and challenge Jeremy. Jeremy with a huge lead, almost 5 seconds. The last lap he turned was a 56.1, so his lap times are looking good.
It's only an 8-lap race. We're over halfway done.
Jeremy's still pulling away. Even though he slowed just a little bit that last lap, he was still almost a second faster than this battle. And it looks to me like Ricky will win this one. He was behind his teammate Fonseca in practice a couple times, went right around him. Fonseca riding good. I don't think he's going good enough and aggressive enough to challenge Ricky for this entire heat.
He chalked up a 7th at Daytona, the shining moment this season, though. And here's the black pass, a nice clean one by Ricky Carmichael. There you see how far in front number 2 in the Bud Light Yamaha McGrath is, as Ricky only has less than 3 laps to catch him.
Now, Roncada was back there watching that block pass going, all right, now he did it. How come everybody yells at me when I do it? Now he's going to battle with Fonseca. Looks like he's got it.
Roncada in that final qualifying position. And James Baroni, who got that great start as a privateer, is now back at 4th.
Now I'm anxious to see with Ricky in the clear if he's able to close on Jeremy. I don't know if there's enough time to pass him for the win here. But he at least wants to let Jeremy know he's faster.
Baroni's in 5th. My correction.
That last lap, Ricky's 2/10 slower than Jeremy, but he's in the clear.
McGrath in the upper right. He's our leader. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael trying to catch up. Let's go trackside to Davey Combs.
Well, we're watching Ricky Carmichael, Team Honda, and Ernesto Fonseca. There's a 3rd Honda rider that is not out here tonight. Sebastien Tortelli has finished 4th the last 2 races in a row, but in practice today, guys, he crashed hard, hurt his back. He tried to ride the second practice, but just a no-go. And you know what? I think Team Honda is just going to park Tortelli and get him ready for the Outdoor Nationals. He has no chance for the Supercross title, but he might be the #1 contender to Carmichael once they get to the Motocross Series.
That's a good point, Davey. And you know, for the last 2 years, it's been a Carmichael-Tortelli battle for the first half of the year, with Tortelli actually holding the lead. This year, they're teammates, so they could probably charge admission over there at the Honda test track, because these guys are going to push the pace hard.
Carmichael still in 2nd place, still trying to catch the number 2 bike of Jeremy McGrath. And you see McGrath up there. For a longer race, I don't think there'd be any question that Carmichael could catch it and have a pretty good battle.
The last lap by Carmichael, 1.1 seconds faster than the leader, Jeremy. And you can see he's closing the gap. Maybe Jeremy doesn't have to push, but for psychological reasons, I'd push anyway. And let Ricky go back to the pit area, sit in that Honda semi going, man, why didn't I gain on that guy? Maybe Jeremy is going to do it tonight. You want to send a little bit of doubt into Ricky's head. That gets him riding a little bit over his head, perhaps, trying something he doesn't really need to. He's already in the points lead. It's not against McGrath.
Jeremy McGrath, with 10 consecutive years of making a podium, would love to get 10 consecutive years of winning a race. The last underway. The white flag flying as Ricky Carmichael comes across that finish line jump.
You know, a lot of people talking about, yeah, Ricky's had his breaks this year. He's been pretty fortunate. He makes his luck, man. Look how hard he's riding. He doesn't have to win this heat race. He's going to try as hard as he can. Put a little bit of pressure on Jeremy. Skip giving him a 57.1. That's the problem because Carmichael's back there going 56.1. So Ricky just makes things happen. He makes people nervous. He intimidates everyone, and that's why he's sitting in the lead right now. Don't think that Vuillemin didn't have him on his mind. Pressure was really hard to build.
Passing one of the lappers, and you can see by those shots how enduring a rider has to be. Look at those arms, legs moving, the pounding the body takes. The checkers for Jeremy. Here's Carmichael. Boy, did he pick up time on him. And the final transfer spot for Ernesto Fonseca, number 24. Holding off number 48, James Pavolde, a privateer. So that's got to make McGrath feel good, though, to get a good start, get out, and run a fast lap like that. Let's check out the Suzuki results page as McGrath now goes back to the pits, transferring to the main event after winning this qualifying heat, along with Ricky Carmichael, Stephane Roncada, Ernesto Fonseca. They go directly to the main. Pavolde, Voss, both Johnsons, Kyle Lewis, they have to go on along with other riders to the semifinals. Lots of action last night at Bourbon Street, but all the action is right now at the Dome. We've got more 250 action coming up in just a moment. David Vuillemin. And it's Ricky Carmichael getting his 18th career win, his 3rd win of the season. Celebrating number 4, looking at the checkered flag. His 19th career victory. His 4th of the year, Ricky Carmichael. Our upcoming events, we're on our way to St. Louis on April 6th. Then it's on to Pontiac, Michigan, Texas Stadium in Dallas, Texas, and the Winter Olympic Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. David, let's revisit the track map.
Well, we're going to take a look at a section right here as they approach the finish line. There's a little whoop section, a jump, and another whoop section. We had a look at Tim Ferry a little bit earlier. Fonseca. This is Tim Ferry. Look at his eyes. The focus as he approaches that corner. Follow his head. Always keeping ahead of where he's riding in that line.
Our Honda close-up tonight, a former 125 champion, now riding 250 Hondas. He's Costa Rica's Ernesto Fonseca, and it's 90 seconds with Jeff Vuillemin.
On the 250, you look like $1 million this year. You look awesome on the bike.
He rolled it through that pedal, baby.
He wanted it.
What was the one, if there was one thing, that you learned from Ricky, being around the influence of the current Supercross champion?
Just watching him ride, he's so aggressive, and just every section of the whole track, he attacks and he charges throughout the whole track, which I don't think not very many people do.
Are you going to be able to pull off a win this year?
That's the question that everybody asks, but it's kind of hard to say. I think if I can, I mean, I'm going to try my best and I'm going to try my hardest to go out there and try to pull a win, but if I can't do it, then I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go out there, have fun, and if I can pull it this year, then for sure I'm going to try my hardest for next year.
You can play a major role in the outcome of this championship for Team Honda. You get in between Ricky and Vuillemin.
If I can help Ricky and if I can help the team, in that way I would. But pretty much at this point, I'm just trying to go out there and do the best I can. If I can win, then I'm going to try to win for sure.
When you went back to Costa Rica after winning the first 125 Supercross Championship, did they like have a parade for you or anything?
I went out there and had lunch with the president, and everybody was real happy. You know, I didn't expect myself to go out and win the first year, so it was like a big deal. A lot of TV coverage and the newspaper a lot, and it was a big deal. We had a big party.
Fonseca's 12 career 125 wins ties him with Damon Huffman and Brian Swink second on the most wins in that class, only one shy of Jeremy McGrath's 13 125 victories. Oh, Chad Damiani and Jim Holley, they're telling the fans as we speak on the Supercross webcast. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. More 250 coming up. inspired by tonight's Supercross action, Randy Leon Frechette, better known as Frenchie, renowned New Orleans painter, obviously a Jeremy McGrath fan, as we get set for our 250 main event. After the semifinal results, the top 6 qualifying out of the semifinals for the 250 action. The top privateer Nick Way, Robbie Raynard, Mason Campbell, Aleph Voss winning a semifinal as well. Jeff Gibson, an Ironman, he's in both the 125 and 250s. And the Nissan LCQ results, Jason Thomas of 3D Racing and Keith Johnson of LCR.com making those final 2 spots. There's a guy that wishes he was in the main event right now because he never was off a podium in this building. I'm speaking to Kevin Williams with Windham. You won a race here, too, as well, on the 250 machine, Kevin.
I tell you, New Orleans has been great to me. Unfortunately, I've missed it twice, the venues that it's come here. And tell you what, I'm glad to be with you guys, but I'd love to be down there on the line right now.
I know you would. A broken femur in Atlanta. I'm surprised to see you walking around even on crutches.
I tell you, those guys did a great job with me, and surgery went well. I'm looking forward to making a speedy recovery.
Looking at the Suzuki starting lineup, Jeremy McGrath, one of his finest qualifying performances, winning the other qualifier, Ezra Lusk, Ricky Carmichael, Tim Ferry, Stephane Roncada, Ramsey and Fonseca from Team Honda. 12 privateers at the gate. We're down to only 8 factory riders with the absence of Sebastien Tortelli, Mike LaRocco, Kevin Windham, and the likes. And the 30-second board is sideways. We're getting set now. 250's underway from New Orleans. Ferry got a good break. Ferry gets the whole shot and is out in front. Number 15 on the Yamaha four-stroke, and 3 Hondas battling it out for second. Inside, Ramsey, Fonseca, and Carmichael. Here comes Roncada on the inside, but he juggles it up. And does Vuillemin get in front of him? So Vuillemin now in 4th, behind Carmichael.
Ricky taking a wide line out of the loop section, gets around Fonseca, but that was close. Ricky got bumped around in between his teammates in the first corner on the triple. I think all those guys were holding their breath. Vuillemin in a pretty good position here. McGrath way back.
Ferry, who looked so good at Daytona, taking a 2nd place, that equaled his best ever 250 performance, is right where he wants to be, out in front on that 4-stroke. Kevin Windham, he's got an advantage with no one in front.
I tell you, the 4-strokes have been looking pretty strong tonight, and opening laps is looking great. Got a good pace going.
Number 275 is Jeff Gibson, the Ironman. This is his 4th time this year that he's been in both main events. The battle for second is on. Carmichael really wants a piece of number 125. Nathan Ramsey, back wheel slipped a little bit. Carmichael's right there. Carmichael wants to make his move early here in the 3rd lap, and down goes.
Oh, that's too bad. It looked like Ramsey was about on his way down anyway, and Ricky just solidified that. That's too bad. Ramsey spent a lot of time on the ground at Daytona. He had a good chance here. Watch it again. Oh, he's getting going right now. Jumping into the corner, Ricky already squared him off, had the pass made. You see Ramsey's already going down, and Ricky just finished it for him.
So a bad break for Nathan Ramsey.
That's what the pressure of Carmichael does to you. Don't think that Ramsey couldn't hear him coming. He was trying to hurry up that corner.
Tim Ferry, number 15, on the Yamaha. Boy, I tell you, it was amazing that what he did at Daytona after being out so many races with injury. He started the season injured. Lusk getting by, number 21, Roncada in the whoops. Fonseca's right behind Roncada, number 21. That's Lusk, number 11 on the Kawasaki. Oh, Roncada being careful not to bump him. Put on the brakes just in time.
Now, these guys are having a great battle, but it's behind Vuillemin. There he goes. Vuillemin running 3rd right now.
Vuillemin got the good start and is right where he wants to be usually. It depends on endurance, really, with Vuillemin now with that sore shoulder, probably. Ferry, Carmichael, Vuillemin, Roncada, Lusk, Fonseca, the top 6 with Voss, a privateer at 7.
Wow. Fonseca just went down before the finish line jump. So he's going to drop out of contention. These Kawasaki guys are going to bear down on Vuillemin. I don't know if he's going to have the strength to hold those guys off.
Thomas went down with him. Here's Carmichael slipping and sliding. Oh, it's pretty slippery on that straightaway, Ken.
Yeah, this track in practice looked a little soft. Now it's definitely hard.
They brought the dirt in here wet and put 11 tons of lime in it to try to dry it out just so it would hold its form. Carmichael now starting to pick up some space on Jim Ferry, our leader.
Kevin, what's Ferry got to do to hold Ricky off?
He's just got to look ahead, and I know that's one of the hardest things to do. But, you know, we're talking a lot about Timmy. He's looking great out there. And I noticed with him, he builds confidence, I think, faster than any rider out there. He has been in and out of the season all season long. And, you know, all of a sudden here he is, and he's leading. He's looking strong, did great in Daytona, and he's building off of that.
If he can stay with Ricky and stay ahead of him as long as possible, assuming Ricky's able to get around, he might be able to secure second.
Here comes Ricky. He showed him a wheel in the whoops anyway. Tire to tire. Ferry, Carmichael, Vuillemin are top three with Lusk in fourth. Here's the battle for the lead now as far as number 4, Ricky Carmichael, leading the... Ferry goes down. Carmichael inherits the lead. Vuillemin inherits second place. Vuillemin in this race, just to hold on to get as many points as possible, looks in good position now.
That's the second time in a row that Ricky has forced the rider, in my opinion, down. Ferry could hear him coming, knew he was coming on the inside, tried to just cut that corner as sharp as he could and cut it off. Went down. Lusk just remounted. He went down. So guys are dropping everywhere. Kevin, I think it's that slick surface you talked about.
It is, and they're definitely pushing hard right now. McGrath's up there in there now, and
McGrath has moved up to fourth.
Watch Ferry. He looks over at Ricky, knows he's coming, loses his focus a little bit. Ricky does the best job he can to keep him running over Ricky's head. He kind of bumped him a little bit, unintentionally, of course. See Ferry's sleeve rather slid all the way up. That's too bad.
Ferry gets back in the race in 11th. More 250 action coming from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's Carmichael, Vuillemin 1 and 2 with Roncada and McGrath, and Voss rounding out the top 5. If Voss finishes in 5th, that would be the best privateer performance in the last 3 years. Welcome back to the Superdome. It is round 10 of 250 action. Ricky Carmichael dominating the lead on David Vuillemin in second, Roncada in third. We've seen so many injuries this year. Windham, LaRocco, Lamson, Byrne all out for the season. Vuillemin, Ferry, Tortelli, Fonseca, Ramsey, Pastrana. They've missed races throughout the year. What's going on, Kevin?
did you leave anybody out? I think that's all of it.
Yeah, it's getting about 11 or 12 privateers in the gate.
Yeah, it's been a rough season, and I think a lot of that comes from just, wanting to push as hard as you can. Ricky's looking strong out front. You don't want him to build too much confidence. I know that when I went down, I was just trying everything I could to get every second that I could, every tenth of a second that I could. When you look for tenths and you struggle for them, unfortunately, the nature of the beast is you go down sometimes.
Earlier this afternoon, we asked several of the riders their impressions, and this is what they said.
Before, everybody kind of was, not being quite as aggressive and, not pushing the issue of jumping jumps and, all the stuff that takes to win. And, there's about 8 to 10 guys right now that want to win races and want to win championships. Where before, I think maybe there wasn't, as many guys ready to step up and do that.
Coming into this season, a lot of guys knew they could have a chance to win if they started charging a little bit harder and riding a lot more aggressive like Carmichael does. And Carmichael's really good at what he does, and a lot of guys, it's just gotten away from him and gotten hurt.
Their opinion's much the same as yours, Kevin, that they're having to put it up another notch and losing more control.
Well, everyone out here knows how to ride a motorcycle and ride a motorcycle well. And in race conditions, you push yourself to the limits, and that's when things go wrong.
Hey, you know what we got brewing here, you guys? Roncada Vuillemin rematch, maybe. I can't say enough about Vuillemin's performance here. I mean, he's got to be... I'm wondering now, hey, if he can run second, and he's not that far behind Carmichael, he's just lighting it up. maybe he should have tried to ride Daytona. Jeez.
Davey, what's your observation?
Well, I got to tell you, Team Honda picked the worst night in the world for Tortelli to get hurt, and then now Fonseca and Ramsey both crashed. You'd think that with Vuillemin hurt, Carmichael could really put a gap on him, but you know what? Ricky's not getting any help, and I tell you what, he's not getting any help from his old practice partners either, because Tim Ferry and Ezra Lusk both crashed. I guarantee you, they were going fast enough to beat Vuillemin tonight. Right now, Ricky's best friend might be Stephane Roncada. The thing is Vuillemin chasing Ricky, or is he running from Stephane?
Well, it looked a little tedious in those woods for Vuillemin's sake, and Roncada, I'm sure, he told me earlier today, Vuillemin just hates it when I'm passing. He hates it, and he just did.
Vuillemin didn't fight for that.
There was no fighting that at all, and I don't know if that's due to a previous incident. Maybe his shoulders get tired, but he's definitely looking like he's going to salvage some good points out of New Orleans, depending on how hurt he is. He looks pretty strong to me.
Our leader up on the right, Ricky Carmichael.
Well, the only thing Vuillemin's got to worry about now, he's going to drop another 5 points if things stay the way they are. That would build Ricky's lead to 10, but Jeremy, who got a terrible start, has put up the fourth, and he's got a chance. He's got time to catch Vuillemin, and Vuillemin doesn't continue to ride like he's been. He needs those 2 points. 3 if he can get Roncada back.
I can't help but think number 12, you know, he showed what he was all about injury-wise in Anaheim when he had that very bad knee. He couldn't even stand on it and still raced. I've got to think that it was totally legit at Daytona. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. Here's Ricky Carmichael. Roncada's now moved into second place. He's looking for his best finish of the year. Vuillemin trying to hold on to as many points as he possibly can. Welcome back to the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, where Ricky Carmichael is dominating this race. Jeremy McGrath in fourth place. On the Bud Light Yamaha number 2. Boy, did he look good in qualifying, Kevin.
He really did, you know, and a lot of the top qualifiers seem to get bad starts or go down, you know, and it was really shaping up to be a solid main. Now Ricky's kind of having his way with it a little bit.
Are you going to be okay for the Nationals, you think?
I'm looking very, I'm very optimistic, I should say. You know, I feel like I've kind of gotten close to the bottom, and when you get there, there's only one place to go, and that's up. So I'm looking forward to making a comeback to the Nationals. We'll see how it goes.
So you're busy focusing all that negative energy into some positive, huh?
Absolutely.
Way to go. Well, I'd love to see you ride. I want to see you back on the track as best as you can, anyway. But I'll tell you, medicine these days is unbelievable. The technology that they use. There's Ricky Carmichael, our leader. Ricky trying to add to a string of 3 consecutive wins coming into this race. Pavoni was going the wrong way there.
That last lap, Ricky getting that second back. You can see in places where they're starting to get down to, looks like a blue groove, or down to the cement through the dirt. It's really starting to get slick.
How's your bike react to that?
Well, you definitely got to use a little bit more finesse, a little bit more throttle control, but these guys are constantly adapting, and like the mechanics, keeping the riders informed. Ricky knows when Roncada makes the second up. He don't need anyone to tell him that. And, you know, if he feels the need, and he can, he will turn it up, which he just did. You're always looking around, and the environment's always changing. You got to stay on your toes.
I think it's important for Ricky right now to keep going hard. Just keep pushing. Because sometimes you start to back off a little bit, and that's when you start hitting things a little bit different and start to make mistakes. Roncada's close.
He's looking to pass Jason Thomas, number 32. Saturday, May 4th, pay-per-view, live from Las Vegas. Of course, the 125 East-West Shootout is something to behold, but also, don't forget, it's the 250 finale, the season ender. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, live pay-per-view. Carmichael getting by easily. Jason Thomas now.
Whoa, Carmichael doing a little nosedive right there. famous for that stuff. Last year, he almost hit the biggest crash I've ever seen and pulled it off right in front of McGrath.
It was here, wasn't it?
Yeah. What is it going to take to beat him?
Oh, man.
I need to get his gate stuck open or something, yeah? Oh, what a phenomenal drive he's had in the last 6 races and now 7 races. Roncada 4.3 seconds behind, number 21 on the Kawasaki. Vuillemin still in 3rd. He's got a 5-second lead on McGrath in 4th. Here's number 12, the Yamaha, David Vuillemin. He's got to be happy to have that cushion with about 3 laps left in this race.
The field really spread out now. The top 5 are separated by 30 seconds, which is a little bit more than a half a lap.
I'll tell you, for David tonight, it's just been a night where everything falls into place. You know, he's obviously not 100%. He's way off of Roncada, but with people crashing and being in the position he is with points, man, it's just fell into place just better than he could wish for. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, he's been pretty lucky. He got the starts he needed to get. He was smart in his heat race. Even though that was forced, he held off way to get it right into the main event. Less wear and tear on that shoulder, but McGrath got to feel kind of bad that he's not able to beat Vuillemin. He's not 100%. He hasn't even been able to cut into that gap.
He's in 4th, Lusk in 5th. Ramsey has moved into 6th. Past Voss, pushing the privateer back to 7th. So it's a battle with 7th and 8th between Voss and Way for the top privateer spot. Guys, that's 25 grand, guys, at the top privateer at the end of the year. Number 2 gets $15,000. Number 3, $10,000. Privateer's going to be able to afford this series pretty soon. It's tough. It's a tough road, though, isn't it, Kevin?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and I'm so fortunate that I've been able to have a factory ride and hold on to it. I've had a chance to ride with privateers, and I tell you what, their heart's in it, and they love what they do, and you know, they sweat and bleed motocross.
Number 2, Jeremy McGrath in 4th.
You can see Vuillemin up there coming the other way. Just like Kevin said, you don't really need the pit for it. There's so many double backs. You can always keep an eye on what's going on in front of you and behind you. But I'll tell you what, Jeremy needed a start to get up in the thick of it tonight. He got a terrible start. He's doing what he can with that. But Roncada, I had a feeling he was going to come in here and do well. He did well 1 year before on 125. It's his birthday. His wife's back from a 3-week vacation in France, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him down on Bourbon Street later on.
Top privateer is Voss. He's 1 place ahead of Way, so he would move in front of Way in that battle for the top privateer on the season. There's Ricky Carmichael, our leader. Carmichael, there's never been back-to-back winners here for the 250 in New Orleans. Maybe until now, with number 4.
The way Ricky's riding, it's kind of a Chad Reed deal right now. He's got everyone psyched out. He's got the confidence that he needs to win probably every race from here on out. I don't see anybody with the mental toughness or the speed to beat him right now.
If he does that, he would tie Bob Hanna for 3rd on the all-time 250 Supercross win list with 27 wins. Rick Johnson's got 28. And if McGrath, of course, way out in front with 72. But that doesn't concern Ricky Carmichael. He gets the second prize. Ricky Carmichael has won 4 in a row. His 6th victory of the season. Roncada, a 2nd place. And a tremendous, courageous effort, I think, by David Vuillemin for 3rd. Number 12, Vuillemin on the Yamaha. But here is our winner, and he adds 4 points to his lead as we'll look forward to Houston, Texas, and the Astrodome in the next race. Check out the Honda results page. Is that appropriate or what? Carmichael, Roncada, Vuillemin, McGrath, Lusk in the top 5. Ramsey recovering for a 6th place finish. Voss and Way battling it out for top privateer with Fonseca 9th and Ferry in 10th. The EA Sports Rider of the Week, Ricky Carmichael. Any surprise? We'll be right back. And scooters. Back in New Orleans, we've seen Ricky Carmichael win once again, and again it was in dominating fashion. Davey's with him now. Davey?
Well, Ricky, that was a solid effort tonight here at the Superdome. That's the good news. The bad news is Vuillemin was able to gut out a third. You only picked up 5 points.
I don't know. It's unbelievable how he didn't ride, and then he gets a third this weekend. But hats off to him. I'm ready to go down to the last race, and may the best man win. I tell you, the Honda's working awesome. My Dunlop tires got off to a great start in the main event, and I need to pour it on the last couple races. You know, David's going to get stronger from here on out. Looks like he's over his injury, and I need to pour it on. I didn't feel too comfortable tonight.
Before we go to Houston, let's check out the Honda point standings as Carmichael now takes a 10-point lead on David Vuillemin. Lusk and Roncada battling it out for that third-place spot. Let's go back to Davey now, who's with the courageous David Vuillemin.
David, I know that was hard to do tonight. How in the world were you able to put in 20 laps to your shoulder like that?
I don't know, you know, first 5 laps were pretty good, and after that I got, you know, the heating cream was burning, and the pain came up, and it was really, really tough, and I'm glad I finished like third, and hopefully next week I'll be better.
Good effort.
Thanks a lot.
Our next ESPN2 Supercross shows come to you from the Houston Astrodome, round 11, 250s on Saturday, March 30th, 12:30 Eastern Time. 125s the next day on Sunday. Our deckman for David Bailey. Davey Coombs, thanking you for being with us. Coming up next, the NC2A Women's Basketball Championships. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.